everybody. Welcome to Rock, Paper, Hand Grenades. I'm Matt Connarton, and to my right is someone who I hope is the Honorable Gary S. Hopper. I don't know. He's incognito, whoever
Kind
this
of
person
incognito today.
is. Are you hiding from someone?
Well, yeah, the newspapers.
Really?
Yeah, they're after me.
Paparazzi?
The paparazzi. Our guest today is Representative Burt.
Yes, Representative John Burt.
John, as I call him.
Yeah.
Yes. We're like, him and I like pretty much like this.
Yeah, because to say
Right.
You say Representative Burt all the time is a mouthful. It's easier to call John.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not sure if that's his name, but that's what I call him.
Well, I'm glad the newspaper's after him.
Yeah, I offended.
Giving me a break.
Yes.
Right, because I offended people.
Did you?
Yes.
Who did you offend?
Who did I offend again? Horrigan, I think, got offended. Well, what is it? Hey, what's the?
All right. Is it something? Is it on the page?
Yeah,
here?
it's on the page. If you double click on that picture, if we can.
This picture here?
Yes.
I like that picture.
I like that picture too.
Yeah,
Right.
see, I don't find that picture offensive. Is there any way to put that up on the screen?
Yeah. Can we put this on the screen for a moment, please, John? This is from the Rock Paper Hand Grenades Facebook.
Yeah, where's that offensive?
I
don't,
think if she's a blonde.
I'm not offended by either of those.
It's one person actually.
Oh,
both.
Oh, right. Sorry.
I think you're being.
Well, I mean, could it be the lipstick? You know, she does have it on.
Oh, I didn't even notice she was wearing lipstick.
I mean, she did have it on a little heavy.
Right.
So maybe
did?
the lipstick etiquette
I didn't know
person
that she
at
had-
the State
I
House.
didn't even know she had lips.
They put it on heavy in Texas.
Yes.
So anyway,
expression.
this is why I'm incognito tonight because
Yes.
the John and I, as a state legislator, if you have email, you can. I guess you could opt out of it, but you get a email from that goes to all the state legislators. It's like an email group, and
Which is open to the public.
which open to the
Oh,
public.
okay.
People you can get what NH. Oh, that'd be cool. Someday I get a
I think it's H reps
H reps at but it's at the
at the state.
at nh.us. something. I'll have to post it sometime so people, if they want to post something, they can. That'd aggravate a lot of state reps if people knew that. But anyway, so this goes to all the state reps and/or whoever initiated it,
Yeah.
and they were going back and forth on gun control. I don't even remember what the initial argument was, but it was getting stupid because someone would say. Someone said that if you take, I think the first one was if you take Chicago and D.C., the places in the country where they have the strictest gun control, and you exclude that from the statistics, the United States actually has a pretty low violent crime rate.
Really?
Yeah, compared to most of the rest of the world.
Yes.
And then one of the Democrats said, yes, but gun violence is higher in the United States, which could be true, but fundamentally, what does it matter if somebody's beaten to death with a baseball bat or shot? I mean, they're still dead.
I'd rather be shot.
Yes.
Yeah, at least it's quicker.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so that goes back and forth for a while, and it was just getting stupid because you're really not accomplishing anything. It's not like anybody's presenting any new information that is
Right.
that is going to change anybody's mind
Right,
on the
nobody's gonna
second.
budge and-
Nobody's budging, and
Right.
and there was no new information coming out that it was going to be like an epiphany for anybody.
Yeah.
So just to throw a little bit of fly in the ointment, I posted this picture.
Yeah.
And on screen, if you're on Facebook, on Rock Paper Hand Grenades Facebook, you can look at the picture a little clearer. But what does it say that the two cities that it compares?
Yeah. A Tale of Two Cities: Chicago versus Houston.
Chicago, Chicago, Illinois versus Houston, Texas. What was the populations are the same, the racial profiles kind of the same. There's more Hispanics in Texas, and actually fewer whites in Texas than there is in Chicago. The median income is actually higher in Chicago.
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, but now the murder rate. What was the numbers on that?
All right. Okay. Homicides. Wow, Chicago's about 4 times as high. Chicago's 806.
Yeah, so the homicide rate in
Houston's
Chicago is
207.
4 times higher
That's in 2012.
in 2012, but the income is about the same. So all other variables considered, if you look at a lot of the other variables, they're pretty similar cities.
Yeah.
But the murder rate in Chicago is 4 times greater. And it's kind of a joke because down the bottom it says the average temperature in Chicago is what?
31 degrees.
In the winter, so that can't be average, is it?
I'm sorry, average January high temperature, 31 degrees.
Yeah, so the average January temperature is 31, and in Texas it's what?
63.
63, so the conclusion is that cold weather causes murder.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So it's fundamentally, the whole thing is a joke, but some Democrats were very offended that I posted that on the New Hampshire House email list. And
what about it offended them?
The blonde. I think they're
Really?
offended by blonde women.
Yeah.
Pretty blonde women are really offended. And
That's why I had to be, because I used to be a Democrat and I became an independent because I like blondes.
exactly.
So
that's
I had no
that's
choice, yeah.
exactly. If you, but the thing that is funny because they're offended by that, but they're not offended by the murder rate being 4 times as high.
Well, but it has nothing to do with the incredible gun restrictions they have out there.
Right.
It's George W.'s fault.
Right.
For
That's
the
George
murder
Bush's. The murder rate in Chicago is because of George W. Bush.
Who says that?
Somebody said something.
Somebody posted something about it?
If they didn't, they will. Isn't everything George Bush's fault?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So I forgot about that part of the comparison. The other part of the comparison between the two cities is in Texas you have the right to protect yourself and have a gun and the right to carry, and there's gun shops all over the place. Mm-hmm. So basically the legal availability of guns is very great in Texas, but the legal availability in Chicago is very minimal. The only people that actually carry guns in Chicago are the police and the people that don't care about the law anyway.
And now they're confiscating guns.
Well, that was a false report.
That is a false report?
It is a false report.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
They were confiscating guns from people who had been convicted felons, who became a convicted felon but still had their permit.
Oh, okay.
That's what the story was when I tracked it down, because I saw that on Facebook and I said, that doesn't seems like somebody be shooting people if that was really going on.
Yeah.
What if they started wearing more cowboy hats in Chicago?
That could do it.
Yeah.
Or air condition the outside.
In Texas.
I mean, like heat the street so everything's like warmer.
I would
the
like
ambient
that
temperature.
Because
that would work.
I spent a lot of time in Chicago when I was a kid.
Kevin Landrigan from the Telegraph called me up yesterday, and there's a link to the article. But he seemed reasonably fair about it.
Oh.
He did mention that people were upset with me, but that if you really looked at the picture, it's no more risque than Dukes of Hazzard, Daisy Duke on Dukes of Hazzard. So.
Oh, you've got a comment here about the. I talked about Jordan Eulery today on Unleashed.
Yeah, Jordan's a good guy.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a really good guy.
I'll take your word for it.
Thank you. But his version is that he was just using that as.
Oh, is it the Nashua Telegraph thing?
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, so they were picking on me and hurt my feelings on the internet today. So I thought I'd point that out. Because I have so sensitive.
Gary, we can say whatever we want because the phone lines are down tonight, right?
Right.
No, it's working.
Whoops.
He fixed it. I think he fixed it. Yeah, it's back up.
Oh,
back
darn.
up.
Oh, so now we have to be careful what we say.
We have to be careful now.
What fun is that?
Well, I was gonna offend a few people, but I guess I'll shut my mouth now before we get the phone calls.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah, I hate offending people because you know me, I'm a pretty sensitive guy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's about kind of my. So anyway, I was speaking of catch up. I was at there's a new ice cream, not new, last couple of years, ice cream place in the center of Ware. Okay, and they had these bottles of ketchup on the picnic tables. It says Royal Ketchup, collector's edition.
Wow.
So I'm thinking, okay, it's a plastic bottle. That can't be quite collectible. So I was seeing, and maybe one of the callers knows who collects ketchup.
I've never heard of anyone collecting ketchup.
I could just picture a couple of guys sitting back on Channel 2 in 5 years with their the smoke jackets on, going and dipping into like the ketchup with a French fry. Oh, Bob, I think that's. Is that Royal ketchup? Is that it? That smells like a 2013 vintage ketchup, Bob. Yes, Frank, it is. And we've been collecting that for a long time. I knew you would enjoy the surprise. So I don't understand why they call it collector's ketchup.
Did you ask?
No, I didn't. I asked some people who sit next to me, and they were rather confused by my questioning.
Did you read the bottle? Because it might have...
My eyes aren't so good. I don't read that much when it's small print.
You know what? We have this fancy machine here. I should Google it. It's called
Royal ketchup.
Yes.
Royal ketchup. All right.
Yes.
We'll get to the bottom of this.
Why do they call it collector's edition? These are the questions. See, because I'm kind of an intellectual guy, so I'm always asking the deeper questions.
Yes.
I mean, there's peripheral things. People might think collector's edition, it probably tastes really good.
Yes.
But not me. I want to know why they came up with collector's edition ketchup. And like, if you collect it, if you collect all the right bottles, can you like get a prize? Like at McDonald's they have the Monopoly thing.
Yeah.
Maybe if you get all the right, and if you collect it, do you have to keep the ketchup in it, or can you use the ketchup?
I would think you would keep the ketchup.
And there also could be the thing that my eyes are so bad that I actually misread it, and it really didn't say collectors. It said something completely different.
I'm starting to wonder because I'm not finding anything online about this. I don't know, Gary.
Yes, you do know Gary.
Well,
as well as anybody, I suppose.
I know many Garys. It's a very common name.
It
We
is.
have all three of us have common names. I can't find anything.
Royal ketchup.
Yeah, Royal ketchup.
Huh.
I don't know.
Maybe that's why it's collectible. Maybe it's like a black market ketchup.
Oh.
The black market ketchup.
You're going to get that establishment in trouble.
I should, yeah. I
They're
probably
not,
can
they're
see
not going to vote for you.
Well, the SWAT's going to be flying right in there.
the SWAT teams, yeah.
Yeah.
They'll have to use that new vehicle they're getting in Concord.
Oh, they got a tank here. Or what is the armored car the police got?
You guys got an armored car already?
Keene
I live
and
in
Manchester
Concord.
has
I
it.
don't know
Really?
anything about
Yeah.
it. Really?
And now Concord's getting
Now
one.
Concord wants to get one.
I didn't. This is the first I'm hearing of this. Really?
Yes.
For what? There's barely
Against its people.
There's barely any crime here.
It's probably because of the black market ketchup.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I didn't think of that.
Yeah,
You are on the case.
exactly. I mean, what other possible reason could they have for needing armored vehicles in Manchester?
It's got to be the ketchup.
It's got to be the ketchup.
Yeah.
They're having a protest about that tomorrow, aren't they? Or
Ketchup?
Well, I thought it was the 12th or something.
the 12th?
Whenever the hearing is.
Whenever the hearing, they're having a hearing in Concord. If you guys want to, I'm too brain dead to have brought it with me, but there's a hearing in Concord as whether or not the city of Concord's going to grab one of these military vehicles to control the black market ketchup.
But I think it's a done deal. They've already drank the Kool-Aid on it. I think they've accepted the $225,000 grant free from the government.
Free.
Even though the taxpayers pay those grants.
Right.
But it's free.
It's free.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot of people don't understand is the federal government actually gives away free stuff all the time.
Yes.
With no strings attached.
Yeah.
Ever.
Well, I think Obama has like a big pocket and he just pulls cash out.
Yeah, that's how he does
Sweet.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just magic. It's
I can't imagine it's coming from the taxpayers.
No, it's got to be magic.
Yeah.
Because how else would people get free phones?
I voted for him in 2008. I never got a free phone.
You didn't?
That's why I didn't vote for him in 2012.
Oh, I can see
I was
that.
still waiting for my damn phone.
That's why
Yeah.
I never got a phone either. That's why I voted. I was thinking of voting for him, and I said, wait a second, I didn't get any free phone.
Right.
I mean, because that's what it's all about. I mean, if you vote for somebody, if you're not getting something from it, you shouldn't be voting for them. So
I'm not allowed to speak about the phones. I got in trouble.
you get in trouble about the phones.
I made national news on the phones.
No,
You
what'd you do?
yeah.
What'd you do now?
Oh, I just put a
Or
little
then, I should say.
Facebook post, and people were upset about it. I got 2 death threats out of it.
What'd you put a half-naked chick from Texas in your post? And
No.
riled everyone's anger?
Well, that's it. No, it was a pretty simple post, but I get this phone call, and from a pretty high up Republican, and said, "Could you please take that down?" And I said, "No, I ain't take."
What was it?
What was it? You gotta tell us what it was.
Am I gonna
It's
get in trouble?
Yes.
No, 'cause
yes.
it's already, you don't, it's
Yeah, it's
already-
too late. It's too late, right?
Right,
It's too
right,
late. Yeah, no, it's okay. You're good.
It was after
Nobody watched
No,
this.
and I didn't apologize. The timing was wrong.
Yeah,
And the newspaper article guy out of Manchester
Anyway, you
Union.
can tell us what it is because you kind of we're sitting here
All
with
right.
bated breath.
I've never understood that expression.
I don't either.
It was after the
That
Boston bombing.
means your breath smells like worms.
Oh, that makes sense. Ooh, I don't like that expression anymore. Ooh.
It was probably a week after the Boston bombing.
Yeah.
It was, or maybe even 2, because it was right after we found out that the taxpayers
Yeah.
paid that family $110,000 in welfare. And I hate the Obama phone because I feel it's abused.
Because you didn't get one.
Well, that's
All
part
right.
of it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's get down to brass
But the
tacks.
biggest thing is it's very abused.
No.
So I figured these guys, are in this country legally,
Yeah.
and we just gave them $110,000, and they blow us up,
Right.
and they're scum.
And you have a problem with that?
I do.
Okay.
Well,
So
what
what?
I
Now where does
posted,
it? Okay.
Seem
Yeah.
ungrateful.
what I posted was I wondered if they used their Obama phones to
okay.
set the pressure cookers off.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Pressure cook. That's what I'm doing wrong. I made
Well,
one.
People
Wait.
got upset.
No, I made one, but I used a crock pot.
Well, what did they use?
A pressure cooker.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah,
it was a crock pot.
it blows up.
I
Very,
put
very
beans.
slowly.
I put beans in there because I figured that's got to be the accelerant.
Yes.
I like beans.
Yeah, so it didn't do anything. It just plugged it in, put it in a backpack, and nothing happened.
Right.
So
Or it
here-
might, probably for a week or two.
Here's these people calling me from all over the country. Nobody from New Hampshire called me,
Right.
Right.
but people from all over the country because I got unbelievable caller ID.
kidding.
And one guy from Connecticut, I'll kill you, you son of a bitch. And,
Wow.
carrying
I'll kill
on.
you?
Oh, yeah, I mean, he was stroking, and I go, "You're a coward. For one, you ain't gonna do it. Goodbye." Click.
Right.
And
Come and get me.
oh yeah, I mean, I got a bunch of emails
kidding.
and.
Oh, that's awesome, John.
Oh yeah, I thought it was all right, but so I took it down, and I just
Why'd you take it down?
I got a little pressure, so I told but I didn't apologize because I don't
You should have
apologize.
tagged me in the picture or something. Make a picture of it and tag me in it.
And but the newspaper calls me up and gives me a hard time, and so I yell at him and I said, "How dare you call me?" Because Barney Frank, the first day of the bombing, said it's a white Tea Party guy. He did
yeah.
the bombing.
Did he say that?
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
And MSNBC reported that too.
Yeah. And that was okay.
That was okay. So that's what I told the union leader guy. So I stroked at him for that, and I said, and you know what? That was on a private John Burt page. It wasn't state rep.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
And he goes, okay. And I said, and I'm doing all this, and I gave him a whole list of, the emails that I just received, and I said one of them had a death threat in it, and he goes, serious? I said, yeah, you want me to forward it to you? And I did.
Yeah.
Right.
And he calls me back, and he goes, oh, my God. And I said, I do all this for $100 a year. And you got the audacity to call me and worry about what I'm putting on a private Facebook page?
Yeah.
And so he did. He wrote a really nice article. He
really?
said,
Yeah.
you know what? Representative Burt said the timing was off. He doesn't like Obama phones. It was just, bad timing.
Yeah.
That's perfect timing.
Well, that's what.
That's perfect timing. That's awesome. I wish I had thought of that.
But it was funny. But so don't do it tonight because you'll get in trouble. There are
It's too late.
sensitive
It is timing, and it's too late now. We're just like,
Gary's already on some no-fly list.
oh yeah, oh
After
yeah.
what you just said, 3-4 minutes ago?
What did I say?
Is he talking about a crock pot?
Oh yeah,
Leaving a crock pot.
the
in a
crock
backpack?
pot.
Yeah,
That's a
dude.
good one.
You're never
That's a
going
good
on an
one.
airplane again. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked.
Well, would they give him a free colonoscopy when he went?
Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
probably.
probably about that time anyway.
For a prostate exam.
Yeah, a prostitute exam.
That too. Yeah.
You need those.
Because I heard that's what they're going to do with Obamacare. To cut costs. They're just going to. It's cheaper to send you to Disney.
No.
And get you a colonoscopy at the airport than it is to actually do the colonoscopy.
No. It's cheaper than that. It's cheaper than that. You don't understand how this works. Okay, the IRS is going to manage Obamacare. Okay.
Aren't they listening to us?
Shh. Okay, how much less expensive is it going to be when conservative John Burt? I mean, remember, if you wanted to start a Tea Party group, they're going to drag their feet. Well, you send in this form and maybe we'll think about it. And you send in a list of when you were born and how many girlfriends you had when you were a teenager, and this would be 2. So, so they're going to say, John Burt needs a liver transplant. Well, John Burt is conservative, Republican. Well, let's send him these forms.
Yes.
You ain't never getting that transplant. You ain't never getting a heart cotton picking operation. You ain't nothing.
By the
You'd
way,
be lucky if you can get your teeth cleaned.
By the way, Little Mel texted and said maybe it was called Royal Ketchup because of Prince George. And then she followed it with haha. So I guess that's not like a serious theory, but
it's as good a theory as we got. So
well, at least you got one viewer.
Exactly. One. That's one in a row, actually.
She's in the building. So that
I actually not ran into literally, but figuratively, to somebody who said they watched the show. I said, that's 5.
Right.
About 5.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So anyway, I was coming on my way here. There's like these kids on these Segways.
Oh, really?
I'm thinking, what would it look like if they had gang of Segway? Like had the Crips and the Bloods and the Segways.
Yeah.
And they did a production of West Side Story.
Yes!
How awesome
that would be awesome!
That would.
West Side Story on Segways.
I don't even like musicals, but I'd go to see that.
I would see that, yeah.
We should be working on Broadway.
I know, we should.
Yes.
We're just awesome.
Well, one movie that... Do they make movies like Blazing Saddles anymore?
No, they don't make any good movies anymore.
Remember the movie Blazing Saddles?
I love Blazing Saddles.
Brilliant. Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
Nobody move it, the nigger gets it.
Oh, my.
That was one of the greatest lines. The guy from the back, well, I think he means it. That was an awesome movie. Yeah. They made a lot of good. Airplane was really good.
I love the Airplane movies. Not everyone gets that type of humor, but
I think it's wicked funny.
Now, the first part of the Planet of the Apes were good. They got toward the end, it was getting ridiculous.
I've only seen the first one.
Yeah, I didn't like the end ones.
I don't know. I thought Planet of the Apes was okay. I didn't.
I loved the first couple.
I love the ending. The ending of the first one is brilliant.
I do too. At the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh, so what else is going on in the news? There's some weird stuff going on in the news besides ketchup. What else was it? Do you remember what I was going to talk about?
Just the Post.
Just the Post? No, there's something else. There's some weird stuff going on, and I can't remember what the heck it was. I should write stuff down.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you do.
Sometimes I do.
You know what? You used to. I think you fell out of the habit of it.
Yes.
Oh, you thought you could remember.
No, I'm not that. I'm not brain dead.
Well, but that's why you're not writing it down now, because at the time you're thinking, "Oh, I'll remember this."
No, I don't. I don't trust my memory at all. No, I wouldn't even have thought of the thing about the Segway unless I saw somebody running by me when I was on the way here.
No, were they trying to run you over?
No. I just said it as I was going by because there's a few of us. So you guys got a gang or something like that?
Yeah.
And the girl in the back laughed. She thought that was funny.
Yeah.
So I think they're serious.
Did she tip it over or anything?
No. Theoretically, you're not supposed to be able to tip them over too easily.
Really?
I don't think so.
I've wondered about that because I've never driven.
Yeah, I've driven one.
Was she good looking?
Yeah.
Oh, the girl on the Segway?
Yeah.
Well, why didn't you have her come in?
Well, see, the thing is, you can't mention that or people get offended.
Oh, it doesn't matter now. After the first 28 minutes of this show, it doesn't matter now.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't matter
You
now.
think I offended somebody?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody or just somebody?
I think probably between the two of you, you've got probably everybody covered. Yeah.
The Obama phone is a good one.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
definitely offensive. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Jordan Early has been Orley. I always have a hard time with his last name.
I wasn't sure how to say it when
Yeah,
I
me
talked
neither.
about him earlier. So
I've known the guy. I think he was in before me in 2000, or he was either that or he was a freshman when I was in. But I've known him for a long time. He's a really honorable guy.
okay.
He's one of those people. He's not really like in the inner sanctum of leadership and all that stuff. He kind of goes his own way, does his own things. Wicked smart, a lot more educated than me, and I get a lot of respect for him. But so it's too bad to see because he actually got. If you read that article, he kind of got the worst the worst end of that. They treated me pretty good, pretty reasonably, but that's just because I'm a sweetheart, I think.
Oh, does this? Wait, the article that was in the Telegraph?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They.
What is it because of his bestiality comments, or is this something different?
I think he posted something from a website that talked about New Zealand allowing bestiality or something like that, but it was a bogus website.
Well, yeah, I picked on him earlier because he was using examples of how gay marriage uses in some letter, some email he had sent around
Okay.
about how gay marriage leads to bestiality, and he didn't seem to realize that.
I don't think he said that.
No.
I doubt it. I don't. He's a smart guy. I doubt that he said that.
Okay.
I don't see how. I think
It's being being reported that he did, but
yeah. I don't know. I didn't read out that there's like these that's kind of the problem with the legislative email is you get these, one person posts something, somebody else fights back, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on and on. And it's just not. It's typically not worth even paying attention to. But
Now, why can't they do it on Facebook or MySpace or?
MySpace, what's that?
Is that still around?
It is. I'm sort of kidding, but yeah, it's just no one
uses it really.
no one uses it anymore. Yeah.
So why can't they, instead of doing it on all reps, which I understand the complaints when people go back and forth for 500 times,
Right.
3 people, it's like, well, can't you do it through
Can't
text
you guys get a
messages?
room?
Yeah. Yeah. Deal with it there.
Right. Yeah, I don't know what he said specifically on that. I didn't read those, so I can't say. But I don't think he said it leads to that. I think there is I think his argument is fundamentally that if you're going to allow gay marriage, I mean, traditional marriage was based on necessity, the Bible, and everything else. If you're going to allow gay marriage, well then. Now you've said you're going to separate law from the Bible and from tradition. So now there is really no limits at all. I think that's his argument. In other words, now that you've done this, there is no legitimate argument for why we shouldn't allow polygamy or. I don't know. Use your imagination.
What's polygamy? More than one wife?
Yeah.
My wife wouldn't allow it.
Yeah.
It's a bummer, huh?
Yeah. I don't know why
So
she's.
old-fashioned.
I don't know why she's like that.
What is up with
How
that?
do they get away with it in Utah?
They don't. It's still illegal.
Is it?
Yeah.
There's not like
Well, but they have like 13 girlfriends.
Yeah. There are like basically subgroups or people that live off in the a little in the Badlands, so to speak.
Yeah.
And they'll have a wife and then have quote unquote acquaintances, and they'll all have kids together. So he'll have like 13 girlfriends, like John said, and one wife.
Well, because
But legally they cannot.
But Wiener has that in New York, right?
Yes, but that's okay. He's a Democrat. You don't really get this, do you?
That's right.
You are just.
Why
like,
am I so silly on that?
I don't know.
I forgot.
Actually, on the polygamy thing in Utah, now that I'm thinking it through, it makes sense that if it's within the Mormon Church and they sanction it, they can do it, but then those marriages would not be sanctioned by the government.
They wouldn't be legal,
be
so it wouldn't
recognized,
make any difference. But
Right.
the Mormon Church, as far as I know right now, does not condone polygamy.
Okay.
there's like any denomination, there's offshoots that went off and stuck with the polygamy. But remember, the Mormons were chased out west. As much as people want to believe that there's this massive separation of church and state, and the state has never been involved in religion or had a religious affiliation or tendency, they're totally full of baloney. I mean, the Mormons, because they didn't believe, because they wanted more than one wife, and I think, if I remember correctly, the biggest issue was that the Mormons did not believe Jesus Christ was Lord.
Yeah, because isn't, what's his name? Sam somebody or something is like their... What's the guy's name? Oh, Joseph Smith. I'm
Joseph
sorry.
Smith.
I can't believe I blanked on his name. He's like,
I blank on everything.
He's like
so.
their main guy.
Right. Yeah, so their belief that Christ is not Lord...
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, is one of the many the reasons why in every state they tried to establish they were chased out.
Yeah.
In fact, if you look at the Supreme Court cases, there was a case, and this one is one that we should scare us, okay? Because the Supreme Court found that the Mormon faith was immoral. It was okay for the state of Utah, I think it was Utah, I don't know which state it was, to confiscate their property and sell it.
Oh.
Okay, so they were taking Mormon property and selling it because of their faith was, as far as the court was concerned, was immoral, because that went to the United States Supreme Court. So what's going to happen to the Catholic Church as far as gay marriage? As this stuff goes forward, because remember, the Supreme Court always uses precedent. Okay? Under that precedent, under the current laws, if your church doesn't accept homosexual marriage, it is therefore immoral by today's standards, and therefore it would be legitimate for a town or city or state to take the property of the Catholic Church or my church and sell it because it's immoral and has no place in society.
Wow.
I don't see that actually happening. I don't see how that would fly.
This is what happened in about the 1880, I think it was.
Well, okay, but we're a long way from 1880. I don't see anything like that happening today.
Well, you already see people's businesses being shut down because they don't want to provide for same-sex marriage, like photographers or and things like that. I mean, we've discussed that on the program before. Right. There's already people being sued and losing their business because you have a homosexual couple that instead of the guy saying, "Look, it's against my faith to provide that service for your marriage,"
right?
Instead of them saying, "Oh, okay, and go get business somewhere else," no, they have to sue them.
Right.
You know. And the thing is, if
that I don't agree with.
If the person is correct, if they really believe if the gay couple really believes that what they're doing is right and in their eyes moral, why would they force that on somebody else? Why not give their business to somebody else? And enough people were giving that other person their business. That person that didn't provide that service would eventually just go out of business.
The free market solves it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
but they're not and that's not obviously not the entire gay community, but it's that those few that want to impose their belief or justify their belief by legal means, so to speak. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that is kind of interesting what they did to the Mormons back in the 1800s.
Well, but we have Mormons here because have you ever been down Mass? I can't remember the main road that goes into Boston. There's a church down there. I mean, on a hill. Yeah. That Mormon thing is huge.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's moved back. I mean, there's a lot of Mormons around. Cheryl, the one who founded this show, was Mormon. So was Elizabeth. Remember my co-host?
I didn't realize Cheryl was.
Yeah. And you know my co-host that was far more attractive than you?
Yes.
She was Mormon.
Well, I knew that, yeah. I didn't realize Cheryl was, though.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
She was brought up in the Mormon church.
Huh.
That was kind of part of the legal problem she ran into, or the conflict, because the people that... Remember when she had that thing with the congressman or whatever, or a state legislator that messed around with her when she was a little kid.
Yeah.
That was part of the problem. It was all within the church, and people didn't like.
I didn't know about that part of it with the church. I didn't know.
I believe so. I shouldn't say that without double checking my facts, but I believe that had something to do with it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that piece of it. That's interesting.
Yeah. But anyway,
Now,
what other hate and discontent can we start today?
Well, do you have any other TV show hosts that are on Manchester TV that won't follow you or go before you?
What?
You know, that like Matt.
Oh, you're talking about the honor of.
Yeah, he chased somebody off.
Yeah, did you know about that?
What? Oh,
Ginger Farrer.
yeah. You told me about that.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you offended her.
Yes, she's on a different day now.
So,
Right.
have you offended anybody here?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, see, that wouldn't
I
work.
think I've offended everybody. If I try.
But we can't chase off who's on before us because who's on before us is Norm and I.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
So-
I don't think you can offend Norm.
Right.
I've tried. He still likes me no matter what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so this what else is going on? There really has been kind of a slow news thing. One thing I wanted to touch on is and I try not I see a lot of let's see, I saw a post, somebody posted a picture of a dog defecating on Obama's picture, using it for paper for training the dog. I don't like stuff like that.
I don't either.
I don't repost stuff like that.
No.
Yeah.
But
It's very lowbrow.
it is
Yeah.
wicked. It is just it's disrespectful to the presidency. But I almost tweaked and said something after what Obama said the other day. I mean, there's enough stuff he does that is very offensive. But he was on. Remember, when you see talk shows or on TV, including this one, it could be on this one, but I try not to do weird stuff like that. But when you see stuff on TV, you got to keep in mind that a lot of what you see is a setup. Okay?
Oh, sure.
And Obama was being interviewed on, I don't know whether it was CNN or NBC or whatever. It was one of the his friendly stations. And at the end of the interview, the interviewer asked, "Is this sequester? Is that what we're going to do? Sequester? Is that going to affect Social Security?" And it was like the last question. And he said, well, yeah. So now remember, it's this setup. Okay, this is a setup where Obama can look very concerned about the senior citizens, but he's using them.
Yes.
Okay, this is fundamentally what he's doing. We see that on state and local government. If you pay attention to your local government, if somebody says we got to cut A, B, C, and D, or we got to cut this budget, the first thing they're going to cut is things that people care about.
Like the crossing guard in Goffstown.
Right. They're going to cut the well, we don't
do it
know
every
what
time.
we're going to do. We're going to have to cut the crossing guard. Everybody loves the crossing guard in Goffstown. Every time they want to cut the school budget, they'll say, well, we really have to do something, and we're going to lower costs. So the first thing we're going to do is get rid of football, baseball, and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
What does that do? That motivates the soccer moms to come to the deliberative session and say,
Right.
you can't stop that.
So they're
Johnny."
sacred cows.
It's the sacred
Yeah.
cows, and politicians do that garbage all the time.
Absolutely.
And it's that is to me what is offensive. And at the end of the interview, they asked him, so is the sequester, if we have the sequester, is that going to affect Social Security? And Obama looks really concerned, says, I don't know if the checks will go out on the 3rd. He is a lion sack. Was
he talking about the sequester or the debt ceiling?
Debt ceiling. I'm sorry. Yes,
Okay.
you're right. It's a debt ceiling.
Yeah.
It is so much bull.
Yeah.
The first thing they're going to do is try to incite the senior citizens to write their congressmen to make sure that we continue the debt ceiling, and that's what he's doing. He has no compassion whatsoever for the senior citizens. I just don't believe it at all. It is a scam.
Well, I think that you're probably right, because I think both parties at the federal level, I mean, they're all in it for themselves.
Yes.
So
Yes.
so I don't think he really cares about them. I do think though the debt ceiling certainly needs to be raised, because what people miss about the debt ceiling, I think people tend to think of it in terms of, they think it's the same thing as increasing the budget when you raise the debt ceiling, and it's not. The debt ceiling has to be raised to pay off financial obligations that we already have, that we've already paid for. It's like paying your credit card bill. So if you don't raise the debt ceiling, America defaults, which would cause a global economic catastrophe.
Right.
So I dread the debt ceiling fight coming, because I'm worried. There's been a couple times where I've been worried that we weren't going to raise it. I will say this about Obama. He actually, when he was a senator, he voted against raising the debt ceiling himself.
Right.
So
he had some really wonderful comment about how we got to be responsible, not just keep raising the debt ceiling.
Right. So when he had some sort of political interest in, because I mean, I'll defend him this much. I think we have to raise the debt ceiling. I think he's absolutely correct about that. The consequences of not doing so are terrible. But he is a hypocrite, because he voted against it when he was in the Senate, when for whatever reason at that point it was more politically expedient, I guess, to try to come off looking like a fiscal conservative.
Well, I think he wanted, he knew he was going to run for president, so he didn't want to go on record as voting to increase the debt ceiling. Because look how many, who was it that was running last time, and that's they kept hammering him. Well,
it was Bush. It was Bush who was in office. See, that's why I think he did it, because Bush was president during that vote.
Right.
And so Obama, and of course, it hasn't been until the Obama presidency that this keeps coming up.
Right.
So of course, under Bush, the debt ceiling, raising the debt ceiling was a routine thing. So I think Obama just wanted to be on record voting against a Republican president.
Yeah.
Is all it really was, because there were other Democrats who did the same thing too. This is why both parties federally just frustrate me, because they all play these games.
They're fully.
Yeah.
What makes the grass green?
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I like our highway guy in Goffstown. He said we wanted to cut his budget in the on the budget committee, and he goes, "Oh, if you do that, I'll only be able to plow." He'll put his plows down 1 inch away from the pavement, and still go down the road.
That's what he said, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He says we won't plow the whole road. We won't be able to. And I'm going, if you're driving down the road, drop the plow.
Wow.
There was just no logic there. I mean, a lot of people were like, "Are you serious?"
Wow.
Oh yeah. That's what they do. That's and that's kind of the problem with dependency. Once you have a dependent class, then you can just kind of manipulate them to get things through. The thing that really bothers me about Social Security, though, is that's quite a bit different than the other dependent classes.
Yes, it is.
Because Social Security or disability are people who have hopefully, people have paid into a system. And like for me, I paid into the system for 34 years because in the event that I became disabled, I needed an income.
Yes.
Okay? And so when I lost my vision got too bad and they kicked me out. So now they're using that check that I rely on every month to pay my mortgage as leverage to get me to call my senators and say, "Oh, you got to increase the debt ceiling. Obama said we'll lose my money."
Yeah. See, I disagree on raising the debt ceiling. I think we should crash.
For real?
Yep. Detroit is a godsend.
But why? I mean,
because we aren't going to stop.
But if we crash, I mean, that's...
Let's get it over with now. It will save my grandchildren later.
You really think so?
We're going to crash eventually.
Yeah, it's in other words, your argument is the debt is climbing up a ladder. At some point, we're not going to be able to pay.
We're going to crash. So let's crash and get it over with.
So if we crash down at this end of the ladder,
yes,
the odds of us recovering and getting back up on our feet are pretty good. But if we wait till here, there's no hope.
Yeah.
But why isn't it possible to get back to a point where we're actually paying down, where we're actually in surplus and we're paying down the debt?
Because the economists have said we've gone past that point where we could ever repay back the debt.
Your other thing too is one of the things Republicans are saying is that what we should do is use this as a tool to pass a budget that doesn't include Obamacare.
Well, what's that new budget, that new program they're working on? They're doing it right now. Immigration.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
a stimulus package in there of billions of dollars. Hidden. It's hidden. I mean, it is. I mean, people can see it,
Right.
but they keep it hidden. Oh, don't look under this carpet.
Well, yeah, because that's kind of like the scare tactic you were talking about.
Yep.
That's the other way they attach all these bills to each other.
Yeah.
These omnibus bills, and they'll say, okay, well, if you don't vote for this, even if you agree with it, I mean, or even if you disagree with it, you got to vote for this because this other thing is attached to it that's absolutely essential, and your constituents aren't going to be happy that you didn't vote for this. So you have to vote for this in order to get this done.
Yeah,
and that's the other game they play.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
In other words, there's $1 billion to start a Royal Collector's Edition ketchup bottling plant in your district, and if you don't vote for it, they don't get their bottling plant, and therefore,
Right. Right.
See how I kind of tie the whole thing in.
Yes, that was genius.
I know.
Yes.
I know. I am a genius.
Yes.
Yes. I don't know how many times I have to tell people I'm a genius before they get it.
Oh.
I guess people aren't as smart as me.
I get it now. I was skeptical until now, but
Yes.
So is the phone gonna ring?
No.
no, it's sometimes we don't get a single call on
Yeah,
the show.
sometimes we don't get phone calls.
Really? We don't
Sometimes
get
we
many
do.
calls
Sometimes
on
we
the
don't.
show. Yeah.
People are afraid to call because Matt's intimidating.
Yes.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes.
It's my chest hair. It pokes
is.
through, and people are afraid. They think I'm a bear.
Yes.
Not that kind of bear, like an actual bear.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not one of those cuddly fuzzy bears.
No.
No.
I'm not allowed at the beach,
I wouldn't. Yeah.
OSHA says I can't. I can't go into the water. I can go to the beach. I just can't go.
He
into the
was
water.
afraid to go into the water.
Well, why don't you have your friends do that? They put that honey or something on you, and then
Oh, I'm very. Yeah,
Waxing?
no. I don't like pain.
You know?
Yeah, no. I don't. Yeah.
You
that
come
looks
on the
painful.
show every week.
I know, but that's more of a mental pain. John's talking about physical pain with the waxing.
Oh, I see the difference.
This more just kind of hurts my soul. It's that kind of pain.
Did you ever hear about the guy that got some guy actually got a polar bear attack in Canada?
really?
Yeah, I don't know how the heck he got out of there, but yeah, he got attacked by a polar bear. Used cell phone. Got that
What
guy.
school did he go to?
No. What
Well,
do you
I
mean?
learned in school not to pick on polar bears.
Yeah.
They look so cuddly on TV.
I know they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was told the one of the cool things about polar bear hunting is you don't actually hunt polar bear. You wait for them to hunt you,
Yes.
which seems a little intimidating to me.
Yeah.
Well, my brother and I went camping on the long trail in Vermont, and like I told him, I said, "Look, I just got to trip you and run.
Right.
If a bear comes."
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's why I always carry a gun when I'm hiking with somebody.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I wing them and then I'm out of there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, what was funny is, my backpack, I have my holster right here.
Yeah.
And my brother's, "Oh, you can't, be, open carrying like that." I said, "Jim, all right, a rabid raccoon or a bear comes out of the bushes, rawr, and goes, 'I'm going to eat you up and kill you right now.' Hold on 1 minute. I got to take my backpack off
Right.
and dig for your gun." Me?
Yeah.
What caliber?
I bring a 9mm with me.
10 millimeter.
Oh, really? That's what I need?
Yeah, you need a 10. 10 will
A 9 won't do it?
No. 9 is really good at aggravating bears, but not actually doing any damage to the bears. That's like, going over there and kick them in the jimmies.
Yeah. Well, my favorite movie is when that bank robber is on the ground. Is it Clint Eastwood goes up to him? I can't remember how many bullets I shot.
Yeah. It's one of the Dirty Harry
Yeah,
movies.
Dirty
Yeah.
Harry.
Yeah.
You're probably wondering, did I shoot 5 bullets or 6 bullets?
Kind of lost track myself.
All the confusion.
And the bad guy puts the gun down.
Yeah.
And then he turns around,
Click.
click.
Yeah, 44 Magnum's another good one. If you're actually hiking, 10 millimeter really works. 357 Magnum is about as low on the spectrum as you want to go.
10mm? They don't make 10mm.
Yeah.
You mean 40 caliber?
No, 40 caliber won't do it. 10 millimeter. Okay. back. FBI. The FBI agents had a run-in down in Florida with I think they were crack dealers.
Really?
And I think personally, I think I don't know whether they were arrogant, whatever the case was. They tried to arrest these crackheads, and they all had like 38s.
Yes.
All right, which is not much different than a 9mm as far as how effective it is. And they started shooting the crackheads, and they were hitting them, but these guys are like, psyched out. And I don't know how many FBI agents died, but it took a long time before they actually killed those two guys. But a bunch of FBI agents got killed. So they contracted, I think it was with Federal, and maybe it was Smith & Wesson, or I'm not positive which manufacturers, and said, we want a bullet that will go through the door, go through clothing, and still kill the SOB that's in the car. Okay? And that was the criteria, that it actually had enough penetration and enough velocity to actually get through the door and do something. And the 45, I believe, was too slow. Okay? 9mm wouldn't do it. They used, I think the first company to come out with it was Bren, the Bren 10, but it was a giant paperweight. But Smith & Wesson came out with a gun. A 10mm was born, and it is slightly more powerful than it's more powerful than a 357 Magnum, and in between that and a 41 Magnum as far as power. But it's in a short case. But then when the FBI got the guns, the limp-wristed buggers couldn't handle the recoil, so they necked that down and had like basically a 10mm short with less power, and that's the 40 Smith & Wesson. So the 40 Smith & Wesson is for the limp-wristed amongst us. The 10mm is the cat's butt as far as authority, as far as takedown.
Well, I heard most police have gone to the 40 from the 9mm.
A 40 is better than a 9, but still, if you're in the woods and you have to defend yourself against a bear, it's really not adequate. A 357, 10mm, 41 Magnum, 44 Magnum are all beautiful guns for that.
We gotta go.
No, we don't.
But again, I just got to outrun my brother.
Yeah, but that's just it. And that you can carry. It doesn't matter what you carry. You carry a 22, but if you're with your brother, you can just shoot him in the leg, and you're good.
And
Just make sure he doesn't have a gun.
Well, it's in his backpack.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So who cares, right?
There you go.
Matt, Derek, thanks for hanging out with me again tonight.
Absolutely. Always a
John,
pleasure.
you're the best.
John, it's good to see you.
Obama phones. You're awesome.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah, have a good one. Thank you for having